Okie Show. Hello and welcome to the podcast that explores the heartlands entertainment industries. I'm Brian, and I am joined today by Kelly and Nick. We are still on the glories of Zoom, but the same glories that make this show happen now gave us some connection issues on this episode. So I'm here flying solo for this intro, but we're going to get to everybody all together as soon as our conversation starts. Today, we are talking about balancing acting life and family life. This is one of those things that kind of people don't really think about very often of, you know, if you're wanting to make a living out of pursuing acting or even pursuing a career in film or music or just the entertainment industry in general, eventually, you know, you may want to start a family. Eventually, you may want to start adulting and, you know, have a home and all of these sorts of things, you know, that the entertainment industry tends to kind of collide with. So how do we make this work? How do we enjoy the best of both worlds? So today, to have that conversation, we talked to an actor buddy of mine named Damon Carney. I've known Damon for close to 10 years now. My gosh, we worked together on Hellraiser. He's been on countless things here in Oklahoma. He actually lives in Texas, and he has his own little deli down in Texas. So he has this side business that he shares with his wife, and he has several kids. And but he's also a super duper successful actor. My gosh, the guy's been in all sorts of different things, and he's going to tell us all about that. He's going to be dropping names left and right. Spoiler alert, there might be mention of a Mr. Hugh Jackman on this one. But without any further ado, I say, let's do it. Let's get right to it. And let's join Nick and Kelly in our conversation with Mr. Damon Carney. Damon Carney on the show today. Welcome, Damon Carney. Yay! Star of such films as Logan, The Lone Ranger, star of Phil, The Walking Dead, Revolution, and much, much more. Yay.
I like that you said that in a ghost voice. It was a ghost voice thing, yeah.
Man, how you doing?
I'm excellent. I'm doing very well. Happy, healthy, and I figure any day I'm able to get up, get out of bed, that's a good start.
That's great, man. So
that's usually the first off the checklist. Just like,
yeah.
I woke up.
I'm up
and at it.
Goes on from there.
Damon, can you tell us a little bit about how you got started into the world of acting?
You know, it started way back in 1976 when my father, when I was 10 years old, and he was only able to take us to 2 movies in our entire, I'm one of 11 children.
Oh my gosh.
And, yeah, so imagine taking 13 people with my parents. He was only able to take us to 2 movies my entire childhood, and in 1976 he took us to our very first movie, and I thought he was going to take us to go see a Western because that was my father's favorite kind of movie, and lo and behold, he took us to see Star Wars.
And that was the first movie you ever saw?
That was the first movie I ever saw in a movie theater.
Whoa!
And
you can never see movies again. Then that's the max. That's the winning at its finest.
it was it, and it was just so cool, and I was so overwhelmed as a 10-year-old watching these people on screen, and I just felt that if I was having that much fun watching them, they must really be having a good time. And I think that was the first moment that I thought, dude, I want to do that, you know. And so you know, then I got into school and sports and played high school sports and had some success with that, and then I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was pre-med, and then I realized I didn't want to be around sick people my whole life, and so then I moved to New York and lived with my aunt and uncle because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And so when I was 19, I moved to New York, and my cousin took me to her acting class in New York City, and I've never forgiven her since.
How dare you?
And yeah, and you know, when they say that the bug bites you, it bit me hard. And from that first acting class, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And so I went back to school. I moved back to Texas. I enrolled at Tyler Junior College, just because I had no experience. I had no idea what to do other than those classes that I took in New York City. But I wanted to start at the very bottom, not saying that Tyler Junior College was the very bottom, because it's an award-winning drama department. Tyler Junior College has a tremendous drama department. And when I started doing plays, and I just took off from there. I mean, I loved it, everything about it. I loved performing. I loved the reaction. I loved the emotion of it, whether it be a comedy or a drama, and just getting that reaction was just so fulfilling. And the bug bit me hard. And then from that, I met my wife at Tyler Junior College, and then from there, we just took off and went to Minneapolis. Was with the Minnesota Shakespeare Company in Minneapolis, and then we moved to New York, and our daughter was born, and I signed with my first agent. It took me 2 years to sign with my first agent, and then I knew that TV and film was what I wanted to do, and I talked to my agent, and they said, if you move to LA, if you want to do TV and film, that's where you got to go. And so they agreed to represent me in LA, and then our son was born in LA. And this is a long answer to a short question, but
No, I love it.
I think the initial, we moved to LA, and our son was born, and I really wasn't getting enough work to sustain us. And my kids were missing out on growing up with their cousins and their grandma and grandpa, and on both sides of my wife's family and my family. So we moved back to Texas to raise them. And that's when we started the deli here in Arlington, the Tin Cup Deli. And once that got established and it started becoming successful, we had, I didn't have to worry about income anymore. It grounded me, and then, roles started rolling in. I signed with an agency here, and because I wanted to continue doing it. And I didn't know what kind of capacity I would be able to do it here in Texas, but I've gotten more work here in Texas than I ever did in New York or LA. And so the deli, I'm someone, I have to get up and get going in the morning. I can't sit by the phone and wait for the phone to ring or decide what. I have to have a purpose when I get up, and the deli has given me that. And so I get up, and I'm still there every day when I'm not, auditioning or working. But the last 10 years is really when things started taking. I am a 30-year overnight success.
Yeah, it's just one long night.
I freaking love that. And I love that we live in a day and age now where you're able to, where you don't necessarily have to live on the coasts.
Yeah.
No.
Like, can you kind of touch on that a little bit of like, how technology and everything has made things easier for you to live abroad, like, just not have to live in LA or New York?
Well, I have a studio here, a gentleman that has a studio that puts me on tape. And so I don't have to do it from home. I don't like doing it from home. And so I can go, he's got the proper lighting, he's got the proper setup. And so you don't have to be in the room anymore. It is best to be in the room with the casting director, producer, which eventually you end up doing when you get callbacks or second callbacks or even third callbacks. But the downside to that is the competition level is so much greater, because then you're not just competing with people in the room anymore. You're competing with all of those taped auditions that are coming in. You're competing with people from New York, LA, Miami, Chicago, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Canada. And so the competition level is so much greater.
Oh, wow. That's true.
Yeah, but you don't have to be in those locations anymore in order to get work. I think that it's just made it so much harder to get that work. But and that's why I am so grateful for any job that may or may not come my way. I'm just grateful to audition and have the opportunity. I used to hate auditioning. It used to be so nerve-wracking, and now I love it. I eat it up. It's my 5 minutes to do what I love to do the most, and I prepare for it like it's a final exam or the last question on my to get my doctorate. Every audition, I go over and over and over again and again, and I study it because I know that competition level is so great. I go back to the Sally Fields. I'm really dating myself with Sally Field quotes, but she said, "I had to be so good they couldn't say no," because, as she said, she wasn't the best looking. She wasn't the sexiest, the most attractive, and I find myself in that. I'm not. My agent out in LA even told me, he says, "Damon, you're a good looking guy, but you're not really leading man material, and you're not bad looking enough to be a character actor either. So we really don't know what to do with you." And so, yeah, I mean, and it's the two factor. My acting instructor in New York City said it's the two factor, and you can't do anything about that. You're too tall, you're too short. You're too fat, you're too thin. You're too ugly, you're too good looking. You can't do anything about the two factor.
Yeah.
And so you have to be so good, they can't say no. And of course, it's a hit or miss. There's no rhyme or reason to this business. And once you realize that, then you realize the audition process is just, it's your 5 minutes, and that may be all you get that month, that week, that year.
I really like
And
that
so
perspective. I really like that perspective a lot. Like, that is definitely not how I ever, when I was doing like monologues in college or anything like that, like for auditions, I would get so nervous. I just think that's a really good mental shift. Like, this is my 5 minutes. I'm going to own it. And I don't really have control after that, but I get to show myself and what I can do. I like that.
Yeah.
Take that 5 minutes and make it yours. Yeah, you have to. You have to. It's just too much competition out there that you have to own it. And I enjoy it. I love it.
Does your family like chime in on your monologue practice at home?
You know, my family is so over me.
Mine too. I feel that.
You can hear the eye rolling in the background as I'm working on a monologue or a scene, and they hear all the stories. And for example, I just worked on Reagan with Dennis Quaid. I'm name dropping. Yes.
Yeah.
EQ.
Shot right here in Oklahoma.
Yes, and he was awesome. He was like hanging out with my big brother.
That's awesome.
And he really was. And I love working with people like that, because you realize, oh, they're just like everybody else, which is my experience with working with Hugh Jackman, another name drop. But I still get excited. I still get so excited about being on set and working. It doesn't matter how much I ever do, or what status I ever may or may not reach. I will always get excited about being on set and working. So I come home and I'm telling my wife about working with Dennis and how cool he was, and what great interaction we had, and how the scene was going so well, and him coming up to me afterwards and saying, "Great job," and she goes, "That's great. Could you take the trash out?" So that's the level of my family just being over it with me.
They're just, Dad spends time with Hugh Jackman and Dennis Quaid.
I'm over it. It's no big deal.
Boring.
Yeah.
Get your friend Dennis to do the dishes.
Yeah, you're still a dork.
Yeah.
And we know you.
Yeah.
Very nice and humbling.
Yeah.
So stop name dropping and get to work.
How much of a difference do you think, like, having your deli and kind of having this like main staple in your life, this consistency in your life, how much of a difference do you feel like that makes?
I think it makes all the difference in the world, and I think that's one of the only reasons that I started working recently. Because, like I said, the first 20 years in this business, I got phenomenal work, and in the last 10 years, I think because And we've had the deli for 17, so it's been very successful. It paid our bills. I didn't have to worry about where my income was coming from. So I think it meant a lot going into auditions. I no longer needed the work. I wanted the work. And so I think, yeah.
Do you feel like casting directors can almost like smell that feeling of like, please?
Absolutely. And even though you go in with all the confidence in the world because you're prepared and you know what you're doing, and you've rehearsed it 1,000 times, there is, whatever you want to call it, that aura, that confidence, however you want to perceive that, they will sense that. Yeah. They'll pick up on that no matter how hard you try to hide that. They'll pick up on it. And if you go in confident enough, not just in the material, but in yourself and in your ability to relax and not need it but want it, because you're going to be adrenalized when you go in. You're not nervous, you're adrenalized, you're excited, and they want to see that. They want to see that you want it but you don't need it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's such a good word. Like, so far we've gotten some really great advice for all you potential actors out there. Like, and I love that. Stay humble, don't have that aura of desperation, and have fun in your auditions, and just like, and you've maintained this love of acting. Like, you genuinely, whenever I've gotten to work with you, you genuinely love being on set. You're such a joy to work with because you just have this positivity radiating from you.
Thank you.
And
or he's such a good actor that he's able to fake it.
So he's literally Sally Fielding you, Brian. He's Sally Fielding you. He is so good.
He got me
you
again.
have to believe it. You don't even know that he just can't stand you at all.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brian.
I actually used that on one of the sets up in Oklahoma City, and it was with Tony, the makeup artist, and I always like to play faux diva Damon. And I will pretend to be this diva on set, and she goes, you always play these bad guys. You're always the heavy, and either the wife beater or the child beater, or the serial killer, or you're always playing these bad guys, but you're such a sweet, nice guy. And I said, well, see, that's how good of an actor I am. I've got all of you fooled. I'm not that nice of a guy. So I think
acting
that scared her off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tony Marlowe, you're working with her down in Fear of the Walking Dead now, right?
The episode I did, she came on afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which, that's a little preview for the listening audience. We are going to have Miss Tony Marlowe, who is now head makeup artist on Fear the Walking Dead.
So legit.
Which is so crazy, because I've known her, like, Damon, how long have we known her? For like 10 years?
Oh, at least. Yeah.
And she does the most beautiful wedding makeup you've ever seen. So that's just, the contrast is great.
Yeah.
Gore and beauty.
And glamour. Gore and glamour and guts.
And
all
everything.
the way back to The Veil. When did we do The Veil?
Oh my gosh. I forgot you were on The Veil. That was actually like right before my time. That was, when was that? That was a Brent Ryan Green film. That was his first film. And that was shot in 2012, I think? 12? I want to say 2012. Wow. I was working at a studio at that time.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was I think it was 2012, because I got that right after The Lone Ranger name drop. When I worked with Johnny Depp.
All these names are falling.
I love it so much.
Cool.
My mom and my mother-in-law are just gonna sit here and listen to this and be like, he met who? He worked with what? Like, they're gonna love it. They're gonna eat up every name you've dropped so far. It's just like mwah, candy to them.
Hey there, film folks. If you're trying to get your project made, I gotta tell you about my friends over at ngpfilm.com. If you are in the state of Oklahoma and you need equipment to get your project made, you need to go to NGP. They've got camera equipment, grip and electric equipment, sound equipment, production gear, stuff for your locations, pretty much everything. And if they don't have it, they're going to help you find it. Their customer service and support is out of this world. Literally, if you're in the middle of your day and you need extra gear, they will come to where you are and drop the stuff off. Or they have a super convenient night pickup and drop off. So you can call them, they'll leave it in these really cool little bins with a code that they give you, and then you show up and you put the code in, and then voila, you got the gear. And then when you're done with the gear, you come back, you leave it in the drop off, you put the lock back on, and then shazam, your day's over at 3 in the morning. NGPfilm.com is pretty much the best thing Oklahoma Film has to offer. If you have any rentals, anything that you need, check them out, ngpfilm.com. Well, let's hear some of those stories, man. Like we've gotten some solid audition and advice. Let's hear some crazy on-set stories, starting with the freaking Lone Ranger and working with Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
I got to. It was a dream come true, and I don't know that it would ever get any better than this. It was my first big budget movie. It's a $200 million movie. It was 2.5 months of riding horses and shooting guns, and the first 2 weeks was cowboy boot camp, where we trained on horses and we rode gun, we fired guns, and for 2 weeks, that's all we did for 8 hours a day, just trained on these horses and shot our weapons. And in the next 2 months, I was in Monument Valley, Utah, and Canyon de Chelly, Arizona, shooting on all these locations that John Ford and John Wayne shot their movies, and it was surreal and a dream come true. I mean, what little boy doesn't want to grow up and ride horses and shoot guns and get paid for it? I was pinching myself every day. I was like, I can't believe they're paying me for this. And Johnny was
cool.
just, it was so cool. And Johnny was just this soft-spoken, genteel, quiet man that, a small example is that the scene where I played one of the Rangers, and I was Ranger Blaine, and we all get shot, and one of the Rangers survives, which is Army Hammer. He goes on to be the Lone Ranger, and there's this scene where we're all buried in the sand, and the sun is bearing down on us the whole time. Of course, you're dead, you can't move, you're sitting there in your sand coffin in the desert, and Johnny is having his scene with the horse, and he's going back and forth, and this is hours upon hours, and we're just laying there, and then Gore Verbenski yells cut, and he goes to talk to his DP about the next scene, and of course we lay there for continuity reasons because you don't move until you're told you can move. Well, when Gore said moving on, we stayed there, and Johnny didn't take off to his trailer. He didn't just leave. He walks over to Gore, who wasn't being malicious by not telling us we could get up. Johnny walks over to Gore and says, is it okay if they get out of there now? Like he was looking out for us.
That's so cool.
Right? He didn't just walk away or go do his own thing. He was looking out for us. And
yeah,
of course, that's just a small example of what I witnessed. And then on Logan, I got, it was just 1 week.
Yes!
Tuned in.
Yes!
Did you have to go through X-Men boot camp on that one?
No.
It's called
No
the
X-Men
Danger
boot
Room, Nick.
Right.
Well, I probably should have. Got the hell beat out of me. And it was 1 week in Mississippi in July.
Ooh.
In a cornfield. And I mean getting eaten up by mosquitoes and chiggers, and it was just in sweltering heat. Thank goodness the fight scene, I did 2 scenes, one at a water well and a fight scene where everybody gets slaughtered, and it was at the farmhouse. And for a whole week, the first night, okay, and this is a $90 million production, and there's 200-300 people on the set, and Hugh walks up, and I'm thinking, wow, and I said my name once, and he remembered it the entire week I was there.
Wow.
Oh,
And I watched him do that with any new person on the set. Okay. And the whole time I'm watching him, he was in for 12 hours from sundown to sunup, take after take after take. I'm watching him do these fight scenes, and you know how intense the Wolverine is, and he's doing push-ups and doing 45-pound dumbbells, and to keep that intensity, take after take after take, all night long, every night. And then the director would yell cut, and he was this big dork dad on the phone with his kids, and no, sweetheart, I don't think you should spend the night tonight. You need to stay with mom tonight. And singing show tunes and telling jokes and just big goofball. But here's this guy who's like 6'3" and just this physical specimen, and he's got all the talent in the world, and he was the nicest guy you'd ever meet. It really pissed me off. I wanted to punch him because I was like, you can't be that good looking, that talented, and be nice.
Yeah.
You know, it's not fair. But and then on Fridays, he didn't have his assistant do it. On Fridays he'd go around and he'd buy enough scratch off lottery tickets. This is like a camaraderie thing. He's handing out tickets, scratch off lottery tickets to like 200 people, running around the set just as something fun to do. You know, it's like $5 tickets to everybody. He did that every Friday night, and it was amazing to watch him. And you know, here's a guy, he doesn't have to work another day in his life. You know, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and he was working harder than anybody else on the set.
Such a good point to hear, like the physical nature of how hard he has to work too, because I think a lot of people forget, oh, it's like you just get on set, and I'm sure they make you feel comfortable if you're Hugh Jackman. You don't have to work hard. No, he's over here lifting heavy weights in between every single take. I mean, that's fascinating to hear, and it just shows that you still have to work hard even if you're super good and rich.
Absolutely. And that was the thing that made the biggest impression on me was how hard he works. And it just goes to show you he's at the level he is at because of that hard work. And there's no making it, you know.
Yeah.
You get there what you think is there's never a point where you make it and you can relax and take it easy. No, you still have to work and maintain that intensity throughout your career if you want to continue to have that career. And you realize that was a very big life lesson for me, even though I knew that from my upbringing. But to see that someone at that level working that hard and being that intense, you just realize they have earned everything they've gotten. You know, it just made a great impression on me.
That's so cool.
That's really great. So you've started, lifting weights in between takes too, right?
Absolutely. Especially the ones where I'm, no.
Even when he's not on camera.
Yeah. It does make you feel about this big. I was like, I really got to start working out.
Yeah.
Man.
I'm doing something wrong. He's making the rest of us look really bad.
Well, and I love what you talk about, like, when you mentioned like he's still checking in on his kids and stuff. I am always so fascinated by how people that reach a particular level, how they are able to balance family life and film life, or just working in the entertainment industry. Like that's the one part of, whenever people are trying to break in to the entertainment industry, that there's very few platforms that ever talk about the family side of things. And I want to talk about that just a little bit.
Okay.
Like, how hard is that?
I think I've never really reached the level of success that individuals like that have to deal with that on a daily basis. And I have the utmost respect for anyone in this industry that works consistently enough to have to be away from their family and still maintain relationships. Relationships and having a family are hard enough as it is. And when you're away months at a time, and you're constantly praised and constantly taken care of, and I mean, that was my first experience on the Lone Ranger. That 2.5 months, I mean, everything is done for you. You leave your laundry bag outside your hotel room, it's picked up, done, folded, and back in your room, and and you're driven everywhere, and you're taken care of. People are bringing you food and drinks and taking unbelievable care of you. It's very heady stuff. And to be able to maintain some semblance of gratitude and
Yeah,
self-awareness,
it's got to be a mind job after a while.
yeah, it made me realize no wonder child actors have such a hard time, because if they're successful in any way, shape, or form, and they're always taken care of, they don't know how to run their lives.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to take care of themselves, or just pay bills, or just do daily things that you have to do as an adult. And so I think I have the utmost respect for anyone in this industry that has been successful, and not only been successful in the career, but been successful in life, and have a relationship, and have kids, and have a family. So with me, it's never, it kind of creeps in every once in a while when I do have to be away, and you just have to reassure your spouse and your kids that you love them and you're there for them, and you get home and they tell you to take the trash out, and you go, okay, yeah, it's I'm loved.
And then you call your assistant and she takes the trash out.
Yes,
Like, I'll do it, but why aren't you complimenting me?
Yeah.
Doing it right? Is this good? Is good?
Yeah.
Do we need to do it again?
Yeah,
Got a second take?
Yeah. Do we need another take of that? I can take the trash out again.
So I can see why people struggle with it, and it's relationships and families are amazingly difficult as it is. So I can see why the industry, people in the industry, have such a difficult time with it, and
it is tricky.
I've been very fortunate.
Yeah. It's tricky from I can imagine from the acting standpoint. It's definitely tricky from the crew standpoint. I admire people that are able to, like, you've been married for 30 years.
Yes.
That's crazy. First
That's
of all,
awesome.
regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
thank you.
Well done. Hats off to you, sir.
Yeah.
Well, hats off to my wife, really.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, she's the one that has had to put up with all this for 30 years, and so imagine your spouse just all of a sudden takes off and is gone for months on end, and you're at home having to take care of everything, take care of the kids. So yeah, it's really, because ultimately, I know you're going to work and do your job and do your thing, but it's different when you have to be away, and the spouses, and the care, the providers of care for your children, they deserve all the credit, and you better give it to them any way, shape, and form that you can. So thank you for the 30 years. I think it's crazy. My wife and I look at each other and go, who does that? What do and 30 years goes by fast, and it's never been easy, moving around we got married in Texas, moved to LA for 3 months, Minneapolis for a year, New York for 2 years, back to LA for 6, and then back here to Texas for 20. And it's never been easy, but it has never been boring, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
What
word of advice would you like to give the spouses of actors out there? Like if you have a young couple who one person is pursuing a career in acting, what's something that you feel like the spouses should know?
keep them grounded. Keep them, don't let them get away with any bullshit. Um, my wife has never let me get away with anything, and she has kept me grounded, and I give her all the, because it is heady stuff. I mean, if you think about it, it can get very overwhelming, and it's an awesome thing, and it's an awesome responsibility to not take that for granted and not let it go to your head. I talking about Hugh Jackman, if I were 6'2" and that good looking and that talented, I don't know that I wouldn't be an asshole. I mean,
a lot of us probably would be, yeah. We'd all be like, we're pretty awesome though. I mean,
yeah. Have you seen me?
Yeah.
I'd be an asshole if I was only like 6'3".
Even
I was just
slightly
tall. I'd
taller
be
or
like, yeah,
slightly
that's
better
enough.
looking, it probably wouldn't be good.
I mean, so the kudos to people like that can stay grounded. So word of advice to spouses of actors is just keep it real with your spouse, and let them know that you're there and you love them, and but you're not going to be pushed aside or taken advantage of or looked over, because really at the end of the day, the most important thing is your spouse and your kids and family and the people that you love the most and supposed to love the most, because everything else can go by the wayside real quickly. And keep the people in your lives that love you. Don't let that go. Yeah.
So balancing work and life and family, and also owning a deli, what's that like?
Oh God, I would go insane if I didn't have all that going. And I get that from my father. My father always had to be busy. He always had all these fires burning, and I like I said, I have to get up and go. Now, don't get me wrong, I like my veg out time too. I like to sit on the couch and just binge watch TV.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But after an hour, 2 or 3 of that, I got to get up and stay busy and do things. So it's fun. I like it. I wish I was busier.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I've learned from this, from the last year of, everybody being in quarantine and everything. People should work. People need things to do.
Absolutely. Yeah. You have to stay busy, or you start thinking about things you don't need to think about.
Yeah.
Get you into trouble, Idle hands make the devil's work, my mom always said.
I'm saying.
Amen. Amen.
Well, Damon, we're about to let you go, buddy, but do you have any last words of advice that you would like to give to any aspiring actors?
Number one word of advice: work hard and never stop working hard. You can achieve whatever you want to achieve, and that's the God's honest truth, but you have to work hard. Now, there are cases where some people just get lucky and they get a lucky break, and things happen for them, and that's great. I don't begrudge anybody that ever has a career in this business. I'm happy for anyone who's able to have a career, maintain a career, and that's awesome. But that is so far and few between. The ones that really work are the ones that work hard. They're professional. They show up on time. They hit their mark. They know their lines, and they're professional. Work hard, and things will happen, and your reputation will grow, and people will like working with you. Don't be that guy, or that girl that everybody goes, oh, okay, yeah, just work hard, and things will happen.
I love it.
Excellent.
One last fun question: do you watch yourself?
Oh, gosh, absolutely. I mean, do athletes watch old film? Athletes watch.
Oh yeah,
they do.
That's true.
Watch film on themselves every single day. Otherwise, how are you
Do
going
you
to
do
get
it from like an analytical, like if I could change and tweak perspective?
Oh,
That's how I have to do it when
absolutely.
I listen or when I do any of that.
Yes. I mean, how are you going to get better? And you know, I just think that you're studying game film every time you watch yourself. You know, you have to watch the process to learn how to get better at the process, I think. And so, you know, and if actors don't want to watch themselves, that's cool. I mean, I can understand comfortable because I watched myself and I've cringed.
I was gonna say it's
Yeah.
cringy, but I'll do it.
Yeah. You know, but what athlete hasn't watched themselves and seen themselves mess up, you know, miss a shot or miss a tackle or, you know, miss a putt. But that's why you watch game film. So I just consider anytime I watch myself, I'm watching game film. I'm trying to get better.
Just training up. I like it.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Mhm.
Dude, thank you so much for giving us some of your time and wisdom. Where can people find you online?
You know, don't do much social media. The only social media I'm at Damon Carney 10 on Instagram, and that is about that. I don't have Facebook. I don't do TikTok. I don't, you know, as you witnessed earlier, I'm not that technologically savvy.
Yeah.
Do you have a MySpace or a Zanga?
Ooh, I still have Zanga. No.
I have
Hey,
none
where
of
can
that.
people find the Tin Cup Deli?
Oh
If they're
yeah.
in Arlington.
1025 West Abrams Street, Arlington, Texas, 76013. Check us out on Yelp. We've been there for 17 years, and I give props to my wife. She designed the entire menu, came
Oh,
up with
wow.
the whole design, and the first 3-4 years, she made every sandwich coming out of that place. And
Wow.
I did every dish, and so my wife is the one that developed the whole business plan, and I'm there just to, you know, I'm the front of the house, she's the back of the house. Of course, she doesn't have to anymore. We've been successful enough. We hire people and we just manage it. And but like I said, I'm there every day. I still get up and go prep in the morning, and you know, wash the romaine and cut the romaine. And, yeah.
Do you
Slice
film
up
yourself doing the
the
dishes so you can get back into it too?
No, I don't do that.
Damon,
But,
you need to work on your romaine washing form.
oh, I get told that. No,
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for your time. This has been really, really cool.
you are
Thank
very
you.
welcome. Anytime, I'm flattered and honored, and I love doing this anytime you want to. Like I said, this was my first, so I hope it went well and hope you enjoyed it.
Wow, that was such an awesome conversation, and I've always had just lots of questions about like having a family and being in the industry. And his passion is that's what it is. Like you got to have a passion for it. I love that. Like
Yeah.
being passionate and being, you know, very controlled with your decisions about how you handle and balance everything. I don't know. It's what a cool thing. Not to mention, come on, he's worked with some cool people.
He's worked with
dude.
freaking Hugh Jackman.
I was fine with the name dropping completely.
Oh, absolutely. You know what's really funny is I remember when Logan came out, I was watching in theaters, and I remember that scene where, you know, the farmers come out and they're like, you know, the guys were like, "We're gonna kill you," and one guy takes a freaking claw to the face.
Yes,
And
that
I
was
remember at that moment being like, he's familiar.
that guy.
Oh, where do I know
What?
him from? Oh, there's Damon Carney.
Damon Carney.
Usually has a claw on his face, though. Usually.
Yeah.
That's what gave it away.
That's
We
true.
should have just told. I guess we never really complimented him with how well he took that claw to the face.
He took the claw to the face like a
He
champ.
took that so well, man.
Couldn't do it much better.
So, I mean, I don't even know what games to even try to attempt to play now. Yeah, I don't have any Kelly's Corner. Ooh, I do have a Kelly's Corner moment. Ready
Ooh,
for this?
okay.
Right.
I'm going to use it in my whole, eventually there's going to be a bit where I literally prove that Everly is a tiny poltergeist who was meant to haunt me around the house. She disjointed her elbow throwing a temper tantrum, like in The Exorcist, okay? I'm standing at the bottom of the stairs, and this girl, 2 years old, I'm just holding her little hand, her tiny little baby hand. She's being all like, okay, like we're going up to bed. And then, of course, you never, ever, ever tell the kid what you're doing. Don't tell them your plans. You never tell them. You lie to them, or you just don't say anything. Where am I going? I don't know yet. We'll find out. Not bed. Definitely don't say you're going to bed. So I made the mistake of, okay, let's go up to bed. And she looked at me like, bitch, no. And then she I was holding her hand, and she yanked her arm down and pulled herself to the ground and dislocated her elbow.
That's insane.
It was
almost a little admirable. Her little
That's
baby
commitment.
strength.
Yeah.
That's commitment.
Yeah. It was, and then of course, huge instant regret. I mean, she like drapes it, and of course I'm
This
just
was
devastated.
the wrong decision.
Devastated. I heard the pop. I heard it. She's draped her little baby arm across her body, and now she can't move. She's screaming like all get out. I just come up to Erin, and I'm like, hey, this happened. I swear I didn't do it. She did it. I just felt like immediately I had to be like, I just want to clarify that if anyone wants to say that I pulled her arm out, she yanked it out of her own socket away from me. Okay? I wish it were filmed.
We cut to a court of law where Kelly is explaining the situation of why this man is dead and dismembered.
Order. All right. Let's get back to business here. Ms. Lawson, you were saying?
Okay. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm trying my best to just explain the truth as it happened. All right? So when I say that Mr. Belvedere's arm came off, I'm telling you, it just popped off. I did not saw it. I did not cut it. I did not break any of the ligaments or skin barriers. Nothing. It all within a span of 5 minutes, they all just popped off.
Your Honor, I would like to ask a few questions of Miss Lawson here.
I'll allow it, but watch yourself, Mr. Higgins.
Now, Miss Lawson, you say that your victim, his arms and legs just fell right off.
It was not my victim. My daughter was with me. And she saw it all. She saw everything. He screamed at me, and his limbs popped out of their body. Off the bot, they just popped. He screamed. It was like he blew up, and they just exploded off of him.
Yeah, Your Honor, it was a cacophony of sounds, and just in a complete orgy of just colors coming
and
from
limbs.
And
I
limbs.
would like to let the record show that a small child of this caliber using words like cacophony and orgy is most disturbing and irregular.
No.
I agree, but I'll allow it.
She's very advanced for her age. Very advanced.
Continue,
so
little girl.
advanced that perchance she could partake in your disligamenting of this senior sir?
Objection, Your Honor. I feel like the Southern lawyer is stereotype, and therefore he should be disbarred from this courtroom. It's an interesting argument there. Sustained. Mr.
Wait,
Higgins.
now wait just a goddamn second, Your Honor. Are you saying that I cannot make my arguments due to my incredibly stereotypical accent and persona?
I'm saying that it's a bit much, Mr. Higgins, and also this 2-year-old is very eloquent and very, very convincing.
Can we get back to the part where the limbs popped off?
Miss
They
Lawson,
popped off!
Miss Lawson, we got bigger stuff to talk about. Your daughter is, I swear, like gonna be a hotshot lawyer. You know what? Let's have her come up and start doing some of the cross-examination. Yeah, okay.
No, wait just a goddamn second, Your Honor. I am not the one on trial now. Or
Cut
am I
to
on
the
trial
child
now?
being sworn into the Supreme Court.
So, seems here our next case is that this is a real doozy. Okay, so all right, get this, justices. A baby took over the court case for the lawyer in a murder trial, and somehow the only person who went to jail was the prosecutor. Is there a precedent for this? Justice Smith, what do you think?
Well, if there wasn't a precedent before, I believe it is now, and I must take the side of the small baby.
Yes, I too rule on the side of the small but very compelling arguments of the child, the small child. In fact, I think when I die, I would like for this small child to take my place.
I concur. I can see that. All in favor? Is that's
I
how
do say yes. Let the record show that her dying wish should be honored.
This small baby will be nominated in my place for my court my seat on the Supreme Court. I'm going to die now. Okay.
Cut to the Oval Office. I think this sounds like a great idea. It's the best idea of all time.
Cut to the new hit series, Baby Judge.
All right, order. I will not have any shenanigans in my courtroom. I've been doing this for this many years, and I do not want any more chicanery going. Okay. So, mommy, it happened again, right? Another body was dismembered.
I don't know what to say. This time they fell off, which is a different sound than popping. It was more of a sound.
Could you say that again for the stenographer, please?
It was the sound.
Did you get all that down, Mr. Johnson?
I did. I most certainly did.
Hey, wait a minute. You sound just like that lawyer.
I got demoted.
That did not go where I was expecting it to go, but I actually really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was a nice whirlwind adventure of our legal system.
That's how I see definitely like my kids are definitely going to be baby judges.
Oh yeah.
Baby Judge.
Baby
Coming
Judge.
to NBC in 2021.
I would not be super surprised, man. That is
Yeah, well, I mean, if my daughter's willing to pop out her own joints to get, to not go to bed, then I don't know what she's willing to do to pass the bar exam, and I'm not. We'll find out though.
Yeah.
We'll
Come hell or high water.
Well,
this November.
Yes. My favorite part of the story is the fact that as I'm in a panic mode and holding her, and I take her upstairs, and Aaron, who is like, he's just this, he's just this straight line of neutral emotion in my life, which I desperately need. But this time, it was not what I needed at all. I'm like panicking. I'm like, I need to take her to the ER. I'm starting to pack a bag. I'm like, turn on start the car. You stay here with the kids. And he's like, hold on. Are we sure that she's hurt? And I was like, yes, this is for sure bad. Okay, hold on. And then he just Googles for like 2 seconds, just kind of Googling. And he's like, okay, I found at least 15 videos of how to fix this. I'm just going to go ahead and watch a few. And I was like,
oh, man.
No. And he pulls up nursing elbow, popping. And I was like, you get away from my daughter.
Our child.
I've never mama beared him like that. But I was like,
oh, man.
No, this is one time where your off the grid mentality does not work for me.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So we took her to the ER. Now, granted, I have to give him credit. The doctor did exactly what he was probably going to do.
Oh, video. Yeah. Oh, probably. Yeah.
But, I just had to have the doctor do it. And the doctor was fantastic. It just, it made it better for me.
So the happy end to the story is that she's all back to normal.
She's all fine. And even the doctor said in the hospital, I was like, does she need medicine? What's going on? And he was like, he was just so calm the whole time. It took all of 5 to 10 minutes for him to fix it all. And he just goes, oh, no, she won't remember any of this. And
Good.
Man,
Freaking good.
I don't know, she's gonna have.
But then I was like, but then I have to go. But did she not learn her the consequence of her actions though? Because I kind of need her to learn not to yank her own joints out during a tantrum.
I feel like,
And the moral of the story is just forget.
yeah,
Just forget.
she's gonna have a weird. Whenever you tell her to go to bed in the future, she's gonna be like, whenever you say that, my arm starts hurting really bad.
Why is there this pop? This
Right
popping
around
sound?
bedtime, my arm just starts killing me, man.
She did thank the
Well-
doctor like exceedingly. She's like, Doc, she can't even talk, but she like talked for this doctor. She was like, thank you, Dr. Arm, thank you. Like over and over again. And I was like, all right, enough. He's gonna get paid for what he did.
We
You don't
get
need
it,
to
we
give her
get
that
it.
much credit.
That's kind of adorable.
Well, if
Good
you
news
liked what you
Yeah.
have heard tonight or today or whenever time of day you're watching, listening to this, be sure to check us out at patreon.com/Okie Show and become a patron today if you would like to be a part of what we're doing. You can also check us out at youtube.com/Okie Show. That's right. We have an actual domain name now, finally. Hey!
We're big time.
Okie
Big time.
Show online, orkieshowshow.com, and then, of course, on all of our socials at Okie Show. And that's it. Be good to yourselves. Be good to other people. And we'll see you guys in the next 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
The Okie Show is a mostly harmless media podcast recorded at Tower Studios in Oklahoma City. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. If you're a business or industry professional that would like to advertise on the podcast, email info@okieshowshow.com. Rates starting as low as $25.